Around 45,000 people are injured due to slips, trips or falls in the workplace each year. Slips and trips are the most common cause of major injuries at work, and they can happen almost anywhere. 95% of major slips result in broken bones, and they can also be the initial cause of a range of other accidents, such as burns or falls from height. Yet slips and trips should be one of the easiest safety problems to tackle, because on the whole, the causes are usually so obvious. So why are they so frequent? Well, some experts believe that many people think that slips and trips are inevitable, while others don't think the risks are that serious. Yet 28% of fatal injuries to workers involve a slip, trip or fall. There are a number of factors that can increase the risk of slips or trips: uneven flooring, poor lighting, unsafe footwear, obstructions, and environmental problems such as ice or wet floors. Simple, cost-effective measures can often reduce the majority of these problems, and the cheapest, most effective solution is using your initiative. If everyone takes responsibility for a problem as soon as they see it, many slips, trips and falls can be prevented. So let's look at some typical problems and solutions. As we mentioned earlier, both the causes and solutions are often obvious, and you may well be able to relate them to your own working environment. Wet or dry spills are a common cause of slips. Therefore, spills should be cleaned up immediately with a suitable cleaning agent. If you discover a spill, even though you may not be able to clean it up yourself, you should safeguard the area and report it as soon as possible. Once cleaned, wet floors should be dried, and if this is not possible, barriers should be erected as a warning to others. Trailing cables are a typical trip hazard and should be avoided, especially across pedestrian routes. Where they can't be avoided, use cable covers or route cables above doorways. Where possible, using cordless tools instead may even remove the need for cables entirely. Poor lighting, both externally and internally, can mean that trip hazards are not seen. Good lighting is especially important on stairs, landings, car parks, and external exit routes. Any changes in level, such as steps, uneven surfaces or slopes, are particularly hazardous if combined with poor lighting. If possible, any uneven surfaces should be leveled off to reduce any risk. Adding handrails to slopes also improves safety, and floor markings on slopes improves visibility. Similarly, adding reflective step edges to stairs or steps will improve visibility in areas of low light. Steps or stairs that have a tendency to be slippery should have a non-slip surface applied. Steel stairways are particularly dangerous when wet. In winter, ice can make external stairs or steps extremely dangerous, and precautions should be taken to avoid any risk. Some surfaces, such as marble or other highly polished surfaces, can also be extremely slippery, especially when wet. Only non-slip cleaning products should be used on these. Similarly, kitchen floors and other areas where there are significant amounts of steam or condensation can be extremely dangerous if appropriate care is not taken. These areas should be kept as dry as possible, and significant build-ups of polish should be removed with an appropriate chemical cleaner. Always report any slippery surface as soon as possible to protect yourself and others from a potential fall. In areas such as kitchens, where there is a high risk of wet or slippery floors, it is always safer to wear non-slip safety shoes. Anti-track mats at doors and entrances are useful in preventing water from shoes being transferred onto floors. External pathways and steps that are prone to ice should have grit and salt applied regularly whenever there is any danger of ice forming. Rubbish, deliveries, stores or anything else that might restrict pedestrian routes or access are all potential trip hazards and should be made safe as soon as possible. So remember, to keep pedestrian areas clear, use dedicated areas for deliveries if possible, and clear rubbish regularly. If you need to work in a pedestrian area, ensure suitable barriers are erected, and if necessary, divert people to a safer route. As part of the normal risk assessment, all companies should identify potential slip and trip hazards and ensure control measures eliminate them as far as possible. Any changes in building layout or processes can introduce new hazards. Also, Contractor activities may cause additional dangers that need to be managed to ensure ongoing safety. If you see a new hazard, don't wait for the next assessment. Report it so that it can be assessed as soon as possible. Ultimately, your actions could decide whether someone is injured or not. Removing a hazard or safeguarding it until further action can be taken may be the most important thing you do today.